Okay, it's recording.
Hey, my daughter likes your accent, Deb.
Yeah, some
Say
people
hi to
accuse
her.
me of being from New York, but it's not.
Say
And
hi
people
to
say I'm from Boston. So,
There
hey
you go.
everybody, hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dave Denton, Independent Outsider. I am here with Sarah Freels from Me News, Sarah Stevens and Sarah Freels were recently at a DNC fraud protest event. We have Della Piana from Become Ungovernable, and we have Stevie, Redneckonomics King here. Hey everybody, how we doing?
Good. I have to lay down because my back is hurting.
And we are going to talk about the just general politics, the wonderful road that we're being taken down by the Democratic Party, and maybe even some about the Republican Party, possibly about Leader Pelosi, about AOC, about the developments, the very beginning of the presidential campaign of some people, the building of the infrastructure, the political infrastructure with the CIA candidates and the military-industrial complex, and blah, 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 blah. So again, very cheery, Christmassy type of
to get you in the
topics.
Christmas spirit of capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would like to start?
I think, why don't we start out with solutions, you know? I feel like when I started paying attention to Bernie's campaign in 2016, I was still on that hopey changey train, you know, like reforming the government, reforming the DNC. And, you know, then I started researching these people, you know, because when you get involved in politics, you need more than a year to really do the work and research who these people are. Like, it takes time, you know. We all have jobs.
Right.
You know, nobody wants to just study politics from morning to night, or, well, I mean, most of us pretty much do, but it's hard, you know, it's physically hard. It's starting, you know, so I think we have to understand that it's going to take, you know, several years before people even, you know, start uniting outside the system. But I think even the people that are still on the hopey changey train, I think they're starting to come around that it's not our duty to reform their corrupt parties, you know, like, because we tried doing that. And, you know, we're going up in these rigged systems again and again and failing, you know,
Right.
We're failing because these people, you know, in power are so corrupt, and they're like a well-oiled machine. You know, they work so well together, like the DNC and the GOP. They're like, you know, this is not their first rodeo. So I think we just need to focus on the obstruct the vote. I don't know if you know about the obstruct the vote, Stevie, but me and Deb and Sarah and Dave, we've kind of developed this idea to unite people without a political party and unite them around a solution. And, you know, I get a lot of, like, Bernie supporters saying like, oh, well, who's better, you know? And when they say that, we just have to tell them, you know, nobody is going to save us within this system. Nobody is going to, not even a Green Party candidate, in my opinion, is going to be able to, you know, get the DNC locked up or the GOP locked up.
Right. It's this. You will be asking a party that is not corrupt to function within a corrupt system.
Yeah.
And what will happen is it will never be able to reach its total potential under those circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when I hear things like, oh, 71% of the millennials want a third party, what they want is a third party that takes money, right? Because I hear people say to me, oh, why don't the Greens learn how to run a real campaign? I said, oh, you mean like one where they take money from George Soros type people and, they have enough money to compete? I said, that's what's wrong with the system. That has to go away. It has to be a candidate from this party, this party, this party, this party. They all get the same amount of time. They all, in my opinion, all the donations need to come from citizens. So whether it's $2,700 a person, right? And I'm not saying, or whether we raise that limit to make it, people can donate up to $10,000, right? But that means that the Tom Steyers of the world and the Michael Bloombergs of the world, that's all they can fucking give. I don't care how much money they have. And it means the candidates who are millionaires can't use their own money to buy the election either. This whole system needs to go away. And this is the problem. Look at any revolution that's ever happened through history. Did Che Guevara and Fidel Castro work with Batista? They did not. They worked to overthrow him. That is the whole point. The system will not be fixing itself. The problem is bigger than any one candidate that you can put on top of it. The shit pile is the shit pile no matter who sits at the top. It's just the reality.
And the structural dimensions of it go all the way back, clear back to the Knights Templar, really. I mean, this hierarchy is ancient.
Right.
Right. The word for corruption and the word for bribery goes all the way as far back as the 14th century. Yeah. So this is not for anyone to have the hubris to say, or the audacity, or to have the balls to say, hey, we're going to get rid of corruption. They're full of it. I actually have a better answer for who's the better candidate. We are, because we know what we need. We know what we want. Part of the problem is for many years, for whatever reason, we've been passive participants. And I see it all the time. I happen to be a union representative for my local, and people expect me to solve all of their problems. Mm-hmm. They need to do some of the legwork. They need to tell me what's going on, and they need to document things. So when we have a problem with a credit card that's overbilling us, or with a candidate or a politician that is scamming us, we need to speak out and say, we are paying attention. Instead of, read us, this is what we need. Please, sir, can we have some more? We need to stop that crap.
Our system, right, as Chris Hedges has said, the best and the brightest work outside the system. Our system attracts the underbelly of what's available in America.
Oh, yes.
It is a system that allows for corruption, okay? For example, I don't believe for a fucking minute that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a renegade. I believe she is controlled opposition put there by the Democrats. She's not the brightest bulb on the planet. She probably doesn't even realize what she is yet, okay?
Yeah.
But she talks like, oh, yeah, we're going to give you single payer and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they made all of these promises, and then you go and listen to Leader Pelosi, who, by the way, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez described as somebody who comes from a organizing background. Organizing what? Bank accounts? She never organized a day in her goddamn life, okay?
I pointed that out to you.
I just...
I can't heard you for a week on that.
All right, Leader Pelosi respects, what is it? Citizen, whatever the hell it is.
Citizen activism, I think it was.
Citizen participation, right? No, she doesn't. No, because here's what she's doing. You know what? They've already identified 85... What are they going to do with Trump? They've identified 85 investigations. They're going to take you right up to 2020, demonizing Trump because they have no other way to win. They have no plans because, and the Democrats don't want single payer, okay? They don't. They had Dick Gephardt, who was a superdelegate, walk into a luncheon with people from the healthcare industry in 2017, that's last year, and promised them that single payer would never happen in his lifetime. He's a Democrat. This is all smoke and mirrors. It's all designed to bring people back to the blue wave, the tidy bowl voters. And this is what this is. And Pelosi is already, saying we're going to do the pay-go routine, which means that if we're going to have some kind of a thing like single payer, then it's going to require either a tax cut. It's going to, in other words, she's going to use typical Republican policies to make sure none of this happens. She doesn't want single payer. She invests money in healthcare industry. She gets payments from the healthcare industry to get elected. None of this money is without strings. Trust me. Okay.
I was talking to Stevie. I think I was talking to her last night, and the midterm elections to me almost seemed like a candidate auction. Okay, I have a Latina. I have a bisexual Native American over here. Which state wants this one? Which state wants a military guy? Which one?
We have two Muslims. It's incredible. It's like, hey, look at our melting pot. None of them's going to do anything for you because we're not going to let them, but we'll let them talk,
Right.
We'll let them, make you guys think that we're going to, do something.
And I honestly believe that a lot of the social media trolling is by design to get people all upset so that they don't criticize minority candidates when they screw us over.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, when I went and confronted Nina Turner, her event was at a civil rights museum. We went and, I was wearing a DNC fraud shirt, but I had my hair done a little bit, like more than normal. Like normally I don't even brush my hair, but,
right.
I went there with like questions, a long list of questions. And like, we waited politely, like 30 minutes just to talk to her. Like there was this clear glass room that she was in, and she was with about 10 people, maybe like seven to 10. And they were all fawning around her, and they were talking about her promotional posters, and they were looking at them, and we politely waited. I was being respectful, trying to show people on the camera that how hard it is to actually speak to them,
Right.
And then we just said, okay, it's go time. The event's about to start. I'm like, so we went to the bathroom, composed ourselves, then went back out with our camera, and I just, I kind of interrupted her. She was like taking pictures, and so she walked away from taking pictures, and we kind of were like, hey, can we, have a few minutes with you? Like, I'm like, I have a list of questions, and then after a few minutes back and forth of her like trying to resist, and like she didn't want us to film her, and I was just trying to tell her about the fraud. I was trying to ask her questions about our revolution and about how the DNC creates AstroTurf organizations for people like Nina to run, and I mean, I had a printout of the WikiLeaks to show her that they create AstroTurf organizations, and on top of that, specifically designed to bring voters from Bernie to Clinton, like specifically, that controlled opposition. And I wanted to show her, and I gave her the document. She rolled it up, said, "That's not true. This is not true," and didn't read it. So she immediately said it's not true, but she didn't want to look at what I have.
Right.
So they, she had her goon, kick me out, walk me out, and say, "Okay, thank you, leave please," and was walking us out. And this white guy, this like scrawny, 20, probably 22, didn't know anything about anything, is headed from a hole in the ground. And he goes, "Oh, real nice, harassing a black woman in a civil rights museum." And I'm like, it was on camera. I wasn't harassing her. I was trying to ask her a question.
Right, that's harassment in this country.
I used to be I would make memes for her. Like, he had one meme that was like, or she said that was, it's not about endorsements, it's about endurance. And I was like, yeah, like, so it's like, but what she says is not what she's doing, So
right.
It's like, you're going to promise me something, you're going to promise me a revolution, you better fucking bring it, And if you don't, I have to call it out because I want to, I want a revolution, a real one.
Yeah, well, that's not what you're going to get from our revolution, No.
No.
I don't know if anybody's ever, I don't know how the hell Bernie Sanders gets to write a book on revolution. This is a guy who has pictures on the internet of him being carried away literally by the police at a civil rights march back in the 60s, who now states that he's not in favor of protesters who are rude and interrupt people. Well, the whole freaking purpose of civil disobedience is to be disruptive. And, fuck Bernie Sanders. Who cares what he thinks? He's just a sheepdog.
That's a perfect example of someone that's institutionalized, though. Someone that's been in the system for so long, they don't know what resistance is anymore.
Right.
And just because you call it resistance doesn't mean you're actually resisting anything,
Right.
Bernie,
that's what I find really distressing about this whole thing is, after the whole 2016 shit show that we witnessed go down, after all the documents and information that we know about our election system and what happened to Bernie, or not to Bernie, but to the people that voted for him. Yeah. And when he had his opportunity right there, and I knew right then at that moment, if he did not stand up for what had been done to him, that's it. We're done. Like that, he had his moment right there to lead America and to actually, because you see how everybody's talking about healthcare right now. That's because he brought that to the platform. But now he had that chance to talk about the election and the way the election fraud, and he backed down from it. And nobody's talking about it. Mainstream media sure as hell not going to talk about it. Our politicians sure as hell aren't going to talk about it. And so moments pass. And now whenever you talk about it, now you're just some kooky conspiracy nut.
Right.
And that's the foundation of our democracy. If we cannot vote and trust that our vote is being accounted for and counted for the right person and not being thrown out, then what's the point? And that's why I love what you had to say about, the whole, what's the point in voting? And I see these people lining up there saying, well, I can't wait till Bernie runs in 2020. I'm going to vote for him. I'm like, why?
Again, for what?
Yeah, either they're going to throw the vote out or they let you vote for him, which is even scarier because he's got his mind right now. And if they let your vote go through for him, then I promise you that's not going to be anything good for you.
Well, I smacked my forehead because I was like, what a dummy have I been for the past 20, 30 years? Because back in 1992, Bernie Sanders had a chance to back Ralph Nader, who was a true civil disobedience warrior, and he didn't back Bill Clinton. Right. And I didn't know that back then. So we had the evidence, but it was ignored for as long as it has been. I do have. So, Stevie, I know you're going to be talking or going to try to talk to Richard Ojeda, and I honestly hope that you get the answers that you're looking for, one way or the other.
So can I say something real quick? I heard her say conspiracy nut. Now I'm going to tell you, Stevie, being called a conspiracy theorist is actually a compliment because according to the CIA, the term conspiracy theorist is the definition for to dismiss a critical thinker. So you're critical thinker. So say thank you so much. I always tell people thank you. I'll get my hair next. Thank you.
That was coined because of the number of people who were questioning the results of the Warren Commission.
Right.
So, in my opinion, the last legitimate president we had was assassinated during a coup, and that was John F. Kennedy. Right. That was, to me, that was the beginning of this process. And there have been several points of acceleration. And one of them, in my opinion, was 9/11. And, it's all been, if anybody's ever watched that video of who the heck, I never can remember this guy's name, Wesley Clark, whoever the guy was, the military guy that ran for the president, General Wesley Clark. If anybody's ever watched his video from Washington, they had a list of these countries that we've invaded back before 9/11 even happened. They were in the, this was the plan. I don't understand how people think that this country wouldn't do this. The bottom line is no change happens until all of this money is out of politics. We can go out and march for healthcare. We can go out and march to end the wars. But the reason we don't have any of these things is it does not serve the profit level of the private corporations that own our politicians, that own our elections, and that write our legislation. Everyone knows the healthcare industry wrote the Affordable Care Act, okay? Yep. It is not any kind of healthcare reform. It still requires you to buy from a private insurer, and it still penalizes you if you can't afford to. And that's exactly what we had before. So how was that different? What did he do? Big deal. He put in a clause about pre-existing conditions, which of course got repealed as soon as he left office. As soon as he left, all of that shit went away. The rates rose up again, and we're right back. We never left where we started from. We only had the illusion that we left where we started from.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of this, obviously, it's by design. You have the ramping up of the fear, starting with 9/11 and starting with all of these little things happening. You have the propaganda, and Network is a fantastic movie. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. Articulation of popular rage. You have all of these politicians getting everybody stirred up. And now you have the next part of the plan where a lot of people, especially those who are speaking up, we are getting economic pressure. Our taxes are being raised. The fuel costs are going through the roof.
Rent.
You're having rent. People aren't able to eat. You're having cops pour bleach into the homeless people's food when people are trying to feed them. You can't collect rainwater. It's insane. It's insane.
40% of the American people worry every month. They have to make a choice between three things: food, medicine, and rent. So people say to me, I was forced to retire early, okay? 6 months early. It meant a difference of $30 in my check, okay? People say to me, oh, you got a lot from Social Security because I got $2,061. I said, I've been working for 47 years, and 25 of those years were full-time jobs. And for 12 of those years, I was making close to $100,000 a year. That's why I get so much. Yeah. I said, but reality is I get $2,061 a month and my rent is $1,700. Okay. Reality is I need to work for a living still in retirement. You can only make $17,000 a year if you are taking your retirement and still working, because if you work over that, if you make over that, they take that out of your retirement. They keep you in this system. They keep you dependent, depressed, constantly spinning your wheels, just trying to survive, so that you don't have time to be an active citizen. This is all by design. You are just struggling to keep going, okay? It's easier for me because I'm going to be honest with you. My son is disabled. He gets money every month too. Guess what? My daughter has already moved. She has her money now. It's her money. It's no longer part of my household. He's going to move along. He's 17 years old. Once he does that, all I have is $2,000. And for however long I can work, $17,000 a year. And do you think rents are going to stay stable? I'm going to have to go into elderly housing at some point. That's just the reality of life. It is the way the system is constructed. It's constructed so that you never get a foothold. And that's where the majority of people are right where I am in this country. I believe that. And there's more getting there every day. I don't believe the standard in this country is some guy retires from a big company like Polaroid and he has a great pension, plus he gets his Social Security, plus he gets this. That's not the real world. People that have those kinds of pensions aren't getting a lot from Social Security. They may be getting $500 a month. So, you know, I think that's where we are. And I don't see any way to make a change from within this system.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Well,
It's a predatory system.
Yeah.
I like to call it predatory capitalism. It's not just capitalism.
It is.
So-
It is predatory.
my question is, where'd all the town halls go? Because all of our politicians want to listen to us. They had those town halls for what, maybe 2 weeks?
They'll be back for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
After everybody is up in arms. But
Yeah.
I think
Bernie will have a town hall to discuss Medicare for all, which actually kind of sucks because Medicare sucks. And guess what? My sister and her husband are both retired. You get Medicare when you turn 65. I can't wait. 6 months from now, I get Medicare. They are both paying almost $200 a month additionally each because they have to buy supplemental plans from Blue Cross Blue Shield because Medicare covers shit. Eyeglasses doesn't cover eyeglasses, doesn't cover dental work. Two of the things you need most as you get older.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't need Medicare for all. We need health care for all. That whole system is garbage.
Yeah.
what happens when we need medical care? Those people who have dental issues, they get ridiculed for their teeth. Those people who have mental or physical disabilities, they get ridiculed. They don't get the help. They get ridiculed a lot.
Right.
Oh, and just on the dental thing, I work at a pizza place as a manager that I get paid $9.50 an hour. They do not offer dental yet. Do you know what our company motto is? Serve every customer with a smile.
Isn't that fucking ironic?
I do not have. I used to have great teeth, but when I got pregnant, my teeth started falling apart, and I've never been able to afford fixing them.
Yep.
And now they are horrifying, and I'm supposed to smile at a customer. You still want them to buy a pizza? I mean, like, seriously, you don't offer me dental. You don't pay me enough to go get it fixed. Yet I'm supposed. I mean, that's just they don't even care. They don't care. They got their money. What's it matter? What's it matter if you have teeth? I don't even make enough money to go and get groceries. I have to eat whatever gets thrown out at the end of the night. I eat pizza all the time, and it's killing me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
And
But somehow it's my
group of
fault
people
because
that's
it's
gonna
supposed to be a
change that.
teenager's job. I don't know.
You know, we're the only people that are going to change that. They're not
Right.
going to change that for us. They got us right where they want us, actually.
You know, and a friend of mine suggested that if we do the banging pot pan, but you got to have a lot of people, that it will work because they won't be able to come outside.
Right.
They'll be cornered in the, in where they're at. So.
That's actually part of the Unity for J. I'm part of the Unity for J movement. I'm one of the moderators on the chat. I'm one of the mods in the Discord channel. I have talked to, I'm not going to drop names, but I have talked to the people in there, and I've done some work. I wish I could do more, but that is one of the things that they talk about. You be as disruptive as you possibly can without nonviolent disruption. That's what you do.
Yes.
Now, Sarah asked what we can do. What we did for like an hour prior to us live streaming is part of it. We team build, we talk to each other, we get to know one another, and you do that locally. You start filming everything. You film your local town halls, which I need to do more of. You get these guys. By the way, people say, oh, local organizing is the way to go. That's fine, but there are old dogs and there are people implanted in the local systems as well. So there is something to be said for you can't fight City Hall, or it's very difficult to fight City Hall. So we need to start talking to one another and stop fighting one another about bullshit and who got 15 minutes of overtime instead of me and that kind of thing.
Can I eat? I'm starved.
Yeah. Okay. Snack some for me.
Deb, I was thinking about, your Michelle Obama thing, what are you exactly doing for your protest? Do you have an idea of what kind of activities you're going to do?
Yeah, we're just going to stand out there and scream at people. No, we're actually going to. I'm actually putting. No, here's what's going on. You know, she's got this whole. I have to look at her book, but you know, it's this whole becoming thing. You know, becoming what? Becoming richer every fucking minute. That's really what it boils down to. And you know what they're going to do. His book hasn't even come out yet. I can hardly wait to see what his ticket prices are going to be like when he blows through town, right? And you know, my goal is I know what they're going to do. They're going to go in there and they're going to sell the Obama legacy. You know, that's what they're going to do with people.
Right.
And my goal is to take the material from the St. Pete's for Peace site, which is a great website, by the way, bipartisan.
Oh, I love that site.
Yeah, they're great. I'm taking all of those facts. I'm putting together a flyer for people that are waiting outside. And when I hand them out and start a conversation about what Barack Obama is really all about, the stuff that nobody pays attention to. You know,
I already have some pages you might use.
Okay, I'm just going to go out there. We're going to go out there and try to engage people like we did with the Hillary Clinton thing. Right. And you know, it's talking to people. It's trying to get people to listen to what you're saying. So yeah, there is my sign which says "Eat the Rich," which is a really good sign. But it's more than that. It's just trying to tell people, hey, listen, you know, this woman and husband for their boss, right? And now they're coming through town. They're charging like $5,000 a ticket to come and fleece. What is with you people? You know, and I just don't get it. I don't get the hero worship. We have a lot of people in this country that buy into that. You know, we treat them like gold. You know, they're not. They're public servants, you know. And we do the same thing with actors and actresses and everybody else. You know, it's like she's bringing reinforcements with her, okay? Now, in some cases, it was Oprah Winfrey. In some cases, it's Reese Witherspoon. And in D.C., oh, for joy, Barack showed up in D.C. at that event for her.
Listen, if Mark Ruffalo shows up, I'm there. I'm there no matter what.
Yeah.
You've been Ruffaloed.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, he is. He is, but you know, he was at Standing Rock and all of that. If he shows up at an Obama thing, then you know he was a damn fraud.
Yeah.
You know, and it's I don't know. I mean, I think we just start. I think the more we do this, it's like, you know, I believe what Hedges is saying. No matter how small it is, your group, if you can make the elites uncomfortable, then it's a win. Right. It just has to be continual. It can't be you do it in January and then no one does it again until the following January. You know, like I have Michelle Obama the 24th, then I'm doing the Julian Assange on the 2nd of December. And then there's going to be, right now, nothing on the docket until Hillary Clinton blows through town, which, by the way, Sarah, I have to tell you, I'm hearing rumors that whole tour is being canceled for poor ticket sales. But the site that I've heard that through is not reliable. And therefore, I am not planning on canceling anything because I think it's bullshit. I know in Boston, tickets are selling. So
maybe they mistook the poor ticket sales for book sales.
Maybe.
Well, one idea I had, and I know for a fact, Deb, you are not Tim Black. I know you are not selling T-shirts to make money.
No.
What I think, T-shirts are a very good idea to create an identity, to have a block. We used to do that as a union. We would go to meetings and all have red shirts on or green shirts on or whatever. So we would have this giant block of people. If you get enough people, anywhere from like 20 to 50 people with the exact same T-shirt on, that creates a presence. Right. And it's to me, it's more of an impact than a sign, because one person holds a sign, you have 20 people united stating the same message. Right. With your Struck the Vote 2020 shirt or a WikiLeaks shirt or whatever it is. Right. The exact same shirt. Everybody knows, oh, they're together.
Right.
So, well, that was one of the tactics during the Democratic national convention, wasn't it? Where they all wore the fluorescent shirts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But we have to understand that there's going to be things that the Democratic Party does, or the GOP does, or that any kind of group, things that they do to get attention. Like, you know how they use social media to connect with the, volunteers. We got to do that too. Like, and then like the Unity for J movement. We kind of had the same idea with our Discord channel. We have a Discord channel for censored activists. We call it Unity in the Community. And, as I see people on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, and they're like, oh, I've been censored. And I'm like, I direct them to our Discord chat. I give them the link. I even have a little meme for it too. And I share it out periodically. And I'm like, hey, people, I'm like, if you're censored, if you're being shadow banned, if you're being deleted, if you're being, tampered with, go to the Discord channel. So like, for example, when my Facebook account was deleted after I posted the video confronting Nina Turner, within just a few hours, my Facebook was deleted. I never got it back. Then soon after that, the Facebook has permanently banned 3 of my devices. I can't even make a new account anymore. So that's why I can only use Facebook every few days now when I have a computer that lets me get on it. So my Facebook's restricted. So I'm like, I need to, connect with people through Facebook, but I can't get on it. So Discord is kind of like a, side route to get,
right.
I have one set up for Become Ungovernable, and I actually haven't started yet, but I will at some point.
If you give me the link for it, we can just do it like we're doing with the censored activist Discord, promoting it, making memes, sharing that out. Because we want people to start using it,
Yeah, I want people, what I really want people to use to Become Ungovernable for is for them to start thinking about organizing in their areas for little things. It doesn't even have to be. I'll tell you what was great. I had a guy contact me from Facebook, and he has, I don't even remember where he lives, but he has 2, I believe they're government installations in his town. And he wants to organize a protest at each one. And he wrote to me asking for ideas. So I gave them to him. But that's what we want to do, is try to get people to do stuff like that in other areas of the country. I had Sabrina Giesler. Do you know that name from Facebook?
I know Sabrina.
She wrote to me about, the organizing for Assange. And she says, we need ideas for what we can do when we live in rural communities. Because right. She's out there in the hinterlands and she wants to do something, And I said, it can be as simple as go to your city hall and start talking to people, go to your neighborhoods and start banging on doors and talking to people. Just, do these people even understand the implications of what it means if something happens to him? I think a lot of people are in disconnect mode. And, I see where she's coming from. She's not in that kind of an area where she's in an urban environment.
Right.
Well, that's part of my frustration is, I live in West Virginia, but I still live on the outskirts of Charleston. So it's, not as bad as, some of these other more rural places, but, I can't even get the people here aren't even willing to fight for themselves. They're willing to take the scraps left over from the scraps. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know how to begin to get them to fight for somebody like Julian.
Right.
When I first heard the news, I was like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? Okay, let's get out there. What do we do? But, I still got people that, they're okay with the way that things are. They're, I guess people have they don't think that there's a way to do it, or that somebody that they're not qualified, or somebody that is qualified is going to come along and save them.
Right.
But nobody's going to save you.
Well, let me just tell you, Stevie, I live close to Boston, and I spent a day with 3 or 4 other people in Boston, on Boston Common, which is a pretty busy area, okay, trying to engage them about the wars we were in. And this has to be over a year ago now. So we had information and we were trying to hand it out. This is what we get. And these are from, these aren't people who are stupid. These are not people who are poor. These were people who were breezing through Boston Common saying things like, I don't have time for that. I'm busy. I'm on my way to a function. I'm on my way to this. You don't have time for that. Well, I guarantee you when the bombs come roosting over here, you'll have time for it then, because someday we're going to get it back in spades from somewhere. But, ignorance is everywhere. It's not just where you are. Trust me. Okay. We have fairly intelligent. We're told that, Boston is the mecca for education. We have some of the dumbest asses on the planet in this city. And I stop tickling Sarah's feet. I'm watching you.
Hey, let me stop for a minute. And Sarah, Freels, and I recently, when we were in Seattle, we did a really cool thing where you go around and you put little flyers of important information, just sprinkle it throughout like the Dollar Tree or Walmart, and it actually gets hits. It got hits to the website.
Yep. We're gonna plan on doing that.
Yeah, I can give you some stuff that would be good to print out, Debs.
Okay.
And then you can pick and choose what you want. And I just, I bought a little, $10 paper cutter and just sliced, 50 of them at a time.
Yep.
And it just takes work. And then on the DNC fraud purchase website, like we're even documenting, I even have pictures of me, like, as I'm cutting it, showing people, like, this is what you do. You take little bits of information and, like, so that your Become Ungovernable Discord chat would be really good. I can post tons of content on there, showing people the ways that because I already have that media created for that reason. So I'll start doing that, and then people will hopefully join in.
Okay. I just,
nothing, a breeze.
It's I'm not talking out of turn here. So we're planning on having some kind of a convention in Boston to get people who are on social media and interested just to get together and talk.
Right.
And share ideas. And everybody's going to be in a different place. And one of the participants, sent me his idea for agenda items, and it's great because they're workarounds for the current system. But I'm dissatisfied with that. It can't be that we continue to work around the system to get somewhere.
Yeah.
There are going to be people at different levels of being ready to do things. And I think we need to talk about street action. We need to talk about people. Hey, when I went to the Women's March, it was brilliant. I'm going to contact the same people. They donated their time. A group called Fury who taught women self-defense. Another group of people. We have 3 groups in Boston who teach civil disobedience, how to get arrested, how to do it peacefully, how to do it so that when they arrest you, you don't get hurt. We need to do all of that stuff. It can't just be finding ways around the system. I think it's great. Do I think communes should make a comeback? I do. I think anytime we can prove to these people we can live outside their system, then we marginalize them. But I think part of it needs to be people who are willing. We don't need 325 million people on the streets. We need 10 million people to make noise and make them afraid. It's not a big percentage of our population. And we need to be able to teach people how to do that effectively. And it can't just be working around. It has to be at some point getting rid of that system, because that is the only real fix for the mess we're in right now.
Yeah.
And that's a big project. I may never see the end of that in my lifetime. But you know what? I have kids that need to live in this world. And I don't understand how people don't get that millennials have everything in the planet stacked against them. I'm looking at my daughter living out at 21 years old, and she's working 60 hours a week in a retail environment just to be able to stay out on her own. And it was so much easier when I went out on my own than it is now. It's a nightmare for kids now.
That's what I keep saying. I'm like, what advice am I supposed to give my kids? I have a 6 and an 8-year-old, and I can't tell them just to work hard and you'll get a good job, or go to school and you'll be okay.
Right.
I don't know.
You just have massive debt,
teach them, what foods to look out for,
like stockpile water and seeds. I mean, I don't know what to tell them, because it's just those are just cliches right now.
Right.
It does not matter. I've worked minimum wage jobs with people that have had college degrees, nuclear physicists. I mean, I'm telling you, it does not matter. It does not discriminate. This is the path that we're on. And in another 10 years, we'll be lucky to even have those jobs.
Right.
If we don't do something about it now, it's only going to get worse. And the worse that we let it get, the harder it's going to be to fight it.
It is. You're absolutely right.
If we don't do something now, especially, what is it? We've got like a timetable of like 12 years before the environment starts to implode. I mean, you know, time's a factor.
Right.
We don't have the time to wait.
Right. And you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That's what people say to me. Well, we need to just vote these people out. Well,
it's gradual progression.
Yeah, and it's even worse than that. We're voting them out for what? To replace them with the same kind of people. There are no progressives in the current system. That's the problem. The parties don't allow it. Okay.
And there's a long string of nepotism throughout the system, too.
There is. There sure is. For example, did anyone know, I didn't know this until I actually made the video, Gavin Newsom, who was just elected, I believe it was mayor of San Francisco. Do you know that that's Nancy Pelosi's nephew? And
big surprise there.
And there are 8 wealthy families who have funded him all throughout his political career. So, you know, she's doing a commercial. So it's amazing, you know, and these families are not, I mean, these are serious wealthy families.
Oh yeah. More money than we can ever imagine, you know. They're doing some crazy shit with it too.
And some of them are actually blended families, blended Republican and Democrat that pull together and fund him. So this is what our system attracts.
It's incestuous is what it is.
Yeah,
it's just wealthy, and their group keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Right.
You know, because they're just edging people out because, you know, it's all about the extraction. You know, I mean, they can only extract so much from people like us. So then they have to start going after these bigger people, and their group keeps getting smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. And they're definitely not getting married or dealing with anybody that's outside of their little group.
Keep it in the family.
Yep. Just like the kings and the queens back in the day.
Yep.
That's exactly where we're on. It's the same thing, different name.
Well, Leader Michelle Obama, she's going to announce her presidency or her.
I bet you she does any amount of money when this tour is over. I really do believe this is laying the groundwork, you know,
for a new oligarchy.
Yeah.
So now the Obama reign. There was the Clinton reign, the Bush reign, and now there's going to be the Obama reign.
Right, and you know, people say he's been, you know, he's keeping a low profile. He's got, he has. What people don't really, you know, is that he lives. His 2 neighbors on either side of him.
What about Lily?
One of them is Jeff Bezos, and on the other side of him, it's Jared Kushner and his wife. He lives in that neighborhood, and you know what people don't realize is he has a force of 20 people living in his house. Valerie Jarrett is one of them. And they are there, you know, on the Trump campaign, on the Trump command, trying to undermine him. You know, this is what he's not, you know, taking a back seat here. He's just being his usual sneaky self about it. You know, and in the meantime, he's going out and making speeches to corporate America, hauling in how much every freaking speech? It's ridiculous.
Making Netflix shows.
Oh yeah. You got him and his wife got a Netflix, you know, contract so they can brainwash the public a little more, you know.
But Obama is so well spoken. He's not vulgar like Trump.
Right.
Polite betrayal is worse than cussing.
Yeah.
That's going to be. I'm going to put that on a T-shirt. I really am.
It's true. You know.
Don't stab me in the back and smile at me.
Right.
I'm done with it.
Yeah,
and
he's the smiling assassin.
I have
Obama's
to say,
the smiling assassin.
For decades, we have been taught that we are not smart enough to run our own country, that we need these politicians because they know how to do it. We're not smart enough. One of the steps, too, is to start realizing that we are smart enough to know how to survive and speak back. And I know Stevie, I've talked to Stevie about it. The public school system is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught to regurgitate, and that's what you see when you start talking about politics or government with people. It's not a critical thinking like that. Like they actually thought about things and questioned it and did some research. It's more like, I saw this somewhere, let me regurgitate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's not a critical thinking type situation. And I'm like, how do we even start to unravel this with people? You know, I mean, I feel like it's just overwhelming. I mean, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to shut up. But, you know, where do you start when it's just that bad?
I tried the public schools. I tried student teaching and getting in the public school system. And kids who try to do something different or question something or say they're not going to do the pledge or do their hair in a different way or have different outfits or act a little differently, they were punished.
Yeah.
Because they're not nice, obedient little consumers.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the best advice I ever got in my life was from my grandma. And she told me, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she taught me that at a very young age, which got me into a lot of trouble at school and in church and in most places in, you know, polite society.
I had a really hard time in Catholic school for 14 years. I can tell you that. That was.
I can imagine. Did you ever tell that?
That was a good time.
Fucking priest to shut the fuck up.
But you know, speaking of pledging, no, my son will not stand. It has not stood for the Pledge of Allegiance, and they pretty much leave him alone because he's just not going to do it.
Did you ever tell the priest to shut the fuck up, Deb?
I've told the priest a few things in my day. You know, I used to get slapped on the back of the hand an awful lot with those rulers when I was in school because, you know, I we used to have religion classes, and I used to say, but who is this guy? No one's ever even seen him. They didn't like that. They did not like that. They were not happy. They weren't happy with that. I don't know how I managed to survive it, but all I know is this. I finally got to college, and my mother wanted me to go to Catholic college, and I'm going, oh, for Christ's sake, now I got to go to Catholic college. I had to go on the tour. I said, I'm going to go on the tour, and I'm not going to go. So we get there, and they're taking us to school, and then the nuns go to me, well, you should see the smoking lounge. This is an all-girl Catholic school. I'm gay, okay? So you got to go check out the smoking lounge. We're going to take your mother down and talk to her about financial aid, blah, blah, blah. I said, fine, great. So I go into the smoking lounge. I open the door, and there they are, all these girls sitting on each other's laps, kissing. And I said, I am so going to this school. I am so going here. I am so going here. My mother comes back up like an hour later. I argued with her the whole way there. She comes up an hour later. I go, sign me up. I'm here. You know, this was like, that was the only voluntary Catholic school I ever went to. It was a great time for 2 years, I got to tell you, but I didn't take very much seriously. But it's just, you know, it's an amazing thing. Like you go to school and I went, you know, I got a secretarial job when I get out of there. I had a good job, and I eventually moved up, and I worked at a time when you could move up in a company without a degree. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know, you could do that. If you were a good worker and you were smart and you could get a grasp on things, you could do that. It's hard to do that anymore. You can't even move up in a company when you have a degree anymore.
Oh yeah.
You can't even get into a company when you have a degree.
Yeah.
Right? I know a lot of highly educated people working at McDonald's.
You know? I have a master's degree, and I'm a vendor inside Costco.
Yep. It's the way it goes. It's just,
I have a master's degree and a giant student loan.
Yeah, me too. 80,000.
About 90 at this point, I would say. So
I think with interest, it's 180,000 though, because I went to Full Sail. So
okay.
You know what? That's to me, that's unconscionable. You know,
it is.
It is really is. It really is. It's like saddling people for beyond life. Yep. Right? How does anybody pay that off in a fucking lifetime? In the way you get paid in America today, you don't.
And you can't discharge it in bankruptcy like you can credit cards.
Right. Right.
You're stuck with it for life.
You are.
I mean, they can't let you be walking around with all that money. You know, I mean, they gotta find a way to keep it down, keep it poor.
It's like 10,000 you have to tell the government how much
You do.
you have, you know. I think it's
Listen, I got another frightening perspective for people. I have a guy on Facebook that contacted me to tell me that he walked into his bank where he has an account and tried to deposit money, and they refused to take it, cash. He had to go to Western Union and get a money order. And on Western Union, they marked him as suspicious activity. We're being set up to be a cashless society.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, until I heard that story, I was thinking of taking some of my money out every month and shoving it under my bed.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know whether that money's going to be worth anything somewhere down the line. You know, that's a scary prospect for people.
Yeah.
And all of these idiot Americans volunteering to be microchipped. What is wrong with those people?
And it's
it's like that in Europe.
Conspiracy. It's already happening in there. The government's already in I forget what the number of the
it's in Europe.
But
they do it in Europe.
There's a law now.
Isn't all of Sweden microchipped? Somebody is. Somebody is has bought into it.
Well, if you're deemed mentally unfit to speak for yourself, or you're the elderly, or have some type of mental disorder, there's a law where they can chip you.
Are you live?
That's crazy.
Try to catch me.
Yeah, it's already it's happening.
Yeah. But imagine you're an American and you have $10,000. That's not even a lot of money today. Okay, given what you have for expenses, and you have to report to the government when you have $10,000 in cash on your person. How is that okay? That's not okay.
I mean, well, my
sorry about that.
The option of they don't even give us the option of getting a check. I had to request to get pay stubs and wait to get those in the mail. And if you want to get you can either get your own debit card, or you can get paid through a debit card that they supply to you. Cash is not an option.
Right.
And that's where we're heading, because that's why I said they keep paying us less and less and less. And it's almost like they want to pay us nothing at all.
Right.
So how do you get people to show up and work for nothing at all?
No.
Right.
That's exactly how. Well, we'll just put some imaginary numbers in your bank account that you can, whatever. And meanwhile, they have all the resources. They have all the resources, and we are left with nothing. And that is exactly the path that we're heading on.
Right.
So that chicken squawker noise you heard, that was my husband. He has a chicken squawker, and he'll go through neighborhoods sometimes and just, so.
He's crazy. Sarah is crazy. We were going down that street outside the Nina Turner event. She was screaming at people.
But I was going to say, one of these days, I'm expecting my direct deposit just to say in the computer, just to say MMT. And not even have a number. We have all the money that we need. You know that, right?
Oh my God!
Here we go.
Started on that.
Don't get me going on that fucking snake oil.
The last politician, and I'm not going to drop names unless you really want me to. The last politician I actually interviewed gave me a quote that I was like, oh, this is the guy that we need public servants and blah, blah, blah. But the very first thing he said on camera was, we need to follow MMT. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me this before we went on freaking camera? Seriously. Like, oh my God. And then I listened for 2 hours. I'm like, okay.
Just like the straw man theory, Yeah.
Senator Sanders had Stephanie Kelton as his financial person on his campaign. She is an MMT person,
right?
By the way,
she was going to be a Secretary of Commerce. The rumor has it.
Right. I have no doubt that we can do that because someone's funding these wars to the tune of $5.9 trillion since. Since 2001.
Right.
So we never hear that, we can't invade Yemen today because we just don't have enough money. We only hear we don't have enough money when we have to have single payer or,
Right.
Something like that. So I have no doubt that we have that. But my problem with MMT is promoting that as the thing that gets us out of trouble. That's absurd because MMT doesn't cure greed, corruption. All it really does is tell people that you can continue to print money for war. That's really what it does. You're not empowering the people. And since when did the elites ever want to share with us? Because the bottom line is they never have enough.
My first question for anyone that brings up MMT is, okay, if the government has all the money that they need, why does $3 trillion all of a sudden disappear? Why all the PACs? Why do they need all these things?
Right.
And they're like, that's a very good question. I'm like, I know. That's why I asked it. Do you have any answer? No, of course not.
If we have enough money for everybody and everything, why aren't all of our people insured? Why are they dying in misery and squalor in nursing homes? Why are family farms going under? Why are bookstores closing? Why does Jeff Bezos need to be the only book in town? If we have all this money, then all of these things should magically just go away. And then it's not fucking real.
People are taken care of. Those aren't people that are going to sign up and fight all these endless, needless wars.
No, poor people
you gotta have poor people. You gotta have poor people.
You do.
The only way to stop them.
That's the only way you're going to get voters.
Yep.
Well, the way you get voters is... Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Deb, what do you think of the straw man Federal Reserve theory?
Oh, Jesus. You can't make this shit up. Well, you can, clearly, but, it's like, to me, it's like the Q-tips, it's like, trust the plan. Sure, I will. Yeah, I'll trust the plan. As soon as I see Donald Trump in jail, I'll trust the plan, I mean, the notion that, the whole Q thing, is waiting for someone to save us. Right. Oh, wait, it's coming. We have, we have sealed indictments. And, that's great, but I'll believe it when I see them. And to think that anybody in that cesspool is cleaning up that cesspool is ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I know. And if they were truly badasses like they say they are, then they would have already had Hillary Clinton in prison.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
it's been 2 years. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
Some people have told me, well, Dave, you're following Julian Assange. No, whoa. I respect Julian Assange, and I am in awe of his work. I don't know the man personally, and I am humbled by his sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's completely different than I'm blindly following him. If there was information and real evidence that he actually did something, show it to me. Don't show me some picture of some brainy damn photo and say that with purple letters saying MK Ultra across it.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah, prove it.
Again, it's easy to attack somebody who is cut off and can't defend himself. And this is what happens now. And I maintain the people, I never heard so many truthers in my life who just spew the truth with absolutely no backup. These people call themselves truthers. He comes from an MK Ultra family. Okay, because some dimwit on YouTube made a video that said that. Right? Like I can't tell you. I hate to even talk about this, but the whole thing last night with Michelle is a tranny thing. Somebody posted a video on my timeline today where Obama is talking and he said, Michael and I, and they immediately stopped the video and said, see, he's admitting his wife's transgendered. I said, you know what? I'm sorry, but that just doesn't work for me. Okay?
Have you ever seen the videos where somebody takes like a cup of water and they pour it on like a box or an orange or something and they say, see, the earth is flat.
Yeah.
Okay. But even today, Deb and I were in a conversation with somebody on YouTube and they said, well, I heard something about Assange. I said, okay, when did this happen? What were the details of what you said? And they're like, fuck you, do your own research. I'm like, you brought it up.
Right.
So show me, if you're going to say you heard this, where did you hear it from?
Right. And the story, what was the story? The story was that he was a hacker when he was young.
Right.
Big deal. All right. I know hackers when they're young. All right. He was a hacker when he was young, and he was, what did they say? He was abused and used by the government. There was absolutely nowhere in that story did it say that.
Right.
Right. And then now they're trying to persecute him. I get the part of the hacking, but people embellish shit. And that's where I have a problem with it. Right?
They also said he was an accused sex offender. Now, at least they didn't say that he was a charged sex offender. They didn't go that far, but he was never accused.
Right.
The women who said something, they just wanted him to get tested. That was it. They didn't accuse him of sexual assault.
Right.
So you embellish. You say things enough times, and they become true. People start believing them.
Right.
So we have to, yeah.
It's just like the people who post, the same people who are on Facebook bitching that Facebook is a shithole, posting and sharing Facebook watch posts, which are paid for propaganda, right? And I say to them, you're bitching about Facebook, but you're promoting the narrative when you share these things. I said, even if you're sharing it to criticize it, stop sharing them. The more they don't look at what you're sharing, they only look at the number of times it's being shared, and then they just give you more to share. I said, it's crazy talk.
I remember when Howard Stern first became a radio personality, and everybody was talking about, oh, I hate this guy. But you're listening to him.
Exactly.
You're giving him the numbers.
Right.
You're listening to him to see what he's going to get you upset over.
Right.
They don't give a shit if you hate him or love him. They care.
They're just looking at ratings, right? Same thing with Rachel Maddow. I have to watch Rachel tonight to see what she's going to say, just because she annoys me so much. Don't turn her on, okay?
Make them obsolete.
Yes.
They're irrelevant to our future. These are not people. These are not things that we want to have in our future.
Exactly.
Do not give them attention. Just don't make them part of the process anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I'm too busy building something for the future to pay them any attention.
Right.
But exactly listen, right. I'm organizing a vigil for Jim Acosta. Give me a fucking break. The man made $700,000 a year for years, and he got a piece of plastic taken away from him, and he still worked. He still works for CNN, and he was reinstated. You said.
Right.
So,
and by the way, Fox and Company wrote a brief in support of CNN. By the way, just in case you didn't know, but they can't stand for Julian Assange because one is the entertainment industry and one is the truth-telling industry. And that's really what it all boils down to.
Not for nothing. I defended Alex Jones's right to be broadcast, as well as I don't want to watch her, but I would defend Rachel Maddow's right to be broadcast. But I also defend the right of everyone to say that Rachel Maddow is full of shit.
Right, and just turn her off. Right? You don't turn her off. Make that our action. Turn her off and don't give her ratings. Don't take her off the air. That's a dangerous precedent no matter who's talking,
And people complaining about it. I've seen this with certain internet shows. Like Tim Black, Let the Madness Begin, some TYT shows. They complain about Rachel Maddow, but they're actually propping her up as important enough to talk about.
Right.
I got to talk about Tim Black real quick because you brought him up. I wasn't going to bring him up, but you brought him up.
Okay. The door is open.
The door is open. When he interviewed Donna Brazile,
let's go.
Not only were the questions blatantly softball questions, let's talk about how he committed to the DNC fraud protest, our first one last year in November, and he was a no-show, okay? Right. He committed to it. We made memes and promotions for it, so people expected him to be there, you know.
Right.
So then he called me like 10 minutes before the protest. When I was like at the protest, I was like, you know, this was my first big protest, so I was like running around doing stuff, you know. And then one of the speakers didn't show up. Like I was a wreck, and like and I truly believe that he's controlled opposition media, and I don't feel like that just out of, you know, thin air. Like if we look at the questions where he asked Donna Brazile, none of them were serious journalism questions. None of them.
Right.
None of them, you know, if I was for any reason able to interview Donna Brazile, I'd ask her a hardball question like, what do you think about our movement to shut your corrupt party down, or talk about WikiLeaks, or talk about Seth Rich, or try and catch her in you know, put her in a bind, put her in a spot. That's what these independent media are supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know? And so
if you want to ask politicians questions to continue your access, you do not have the right mindset. You don't have the right priorities. If you're asking questions to get answers, that's what you really should be doing. I mean, I interviewed like four politicians, and after 4 politicians, I got all the answers I needed to get.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm good.
The prepackaged, you know, statement.
But
I'm a mother.
You know, at first I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but then I started noticing that his media is very biased, it's very centrist. You know, he doesn't want to rock the boat too much. And I've told people to just, you know, even if you think I'm crazy for, you know, not trusting him, I'm like, just look at his videos and think to yourself, maybe could he be any less obvious? Like, he praised Donna Brazile. He said the independent media community appreciates her. What kind of fucking genuine person would tell Donna Brazile, even if he was just trying to be nice, or even if he was trying to be professional? You don't speak for the independent community, or at least my version, you know, of the independent community. Speak for me.
Sarah, you and I need to interview Donna Brazile and tell her that we appreciate her rigging the national debate.
You interview Donna Brazile.
But that's the thing. She would never speak with people like you and me, because we're actually opposing the Democratic Party in our own ways. You know, Donna Brazile is not scared of Tim Black. Donna Brazile is not worried about Tim Black. And I privately messaged him very professionally and asked him, you know, hey, I just have 2 questions. One, did Donna Brazile contact you for the interview, or did you contact her? And 2, did she give you the questions to ask, or did you ask her and then she approved them? So I wanted to know, like, you know, who actually initiated the what's the word? The live stream, you know, the interview with them. I want to know who initiated it, because why is, you know, I feel like with Meme News, the whole reason why we've been so successful so far is because we're lifting up, you know, independent media voices. We're lifting up each other's voices and stuff. And he's using his platform, which ironically is called No Sellouts, and he's using his platform to interview sellouts.
Well, my thing, I was actually on that interview live stream, and I saw and I know who his moderators are. I've talked to his moderators. I've actually live streamed with a couple of them, and they were hammering every single person that was asking a legitimate question. Trolls, I get you're going to get rid of the trolls. I get that, you know, calling her a bitch or whatever. I get that. That's fine. But if you're asking legitimate questions, please be respectful. You're being rude. Slam, slam, slam. They're booting people off left and right. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this.
People like that, they're trying to keep people in this echo chamber. like, they're associated with that whole, like, just informed media. And, not only is that media, like, you have to pay to get it, like me and Deb and you, like, we just promote news, just for the good of the cause. And then we let people donate if they want to, but this is like a paid thing. That's still okay.
I was actually invited to that, and I thought about it, and I looked at it, and then I heard a little bit more about it. I'm like, no.
And then they'll stop your profiles, your other social media pages.
That's what I heard.
I think they're doing that not for their protection or protection, but they're doing that because they only want a certain group of people in there. They want this like echo chamber, They don't want people entering their group and finding out what they're sharing and what they're saying, because they'll know that people like me and you, and we're going to pick through it. We're going to transcript it, and I think they're just really deceiving people. They're leaving them
there
down.
There was a guy who was a live streamer, and he promoted me. I promoted him for a little while, a guy named LB the Realist. And all of a sudden he got on Just Informed. He was talking about the rules against feeding. He was in California. The rules against feeding the homeless, the food sharing laws. He was really hammering people. Then he got involved in Just Informed. I haven't heard about him in months. I don't know if they silenced him. I don't know what the hell happened. So, no, I don't need to be formally part of a group. I would love to, be independent and work together with all sorts of different groups, but don't need to sign a contract. I don't need any of that crap.
Yeah, I was reading about that from the beginning, because when I hear that the news is vetted, well, who the hell's going to vet my news?
Right.
In Black. Who's the other idiot? Nico House.
Nico House.
Yeah. Bye. See you later.
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
So.
Oh, so it's not that side of stuff. Go ahead.
What kind of independent media would y'all recommend? I mean, is there anybody besides, people here?
You guys need, you know what? Here's what you should do. I'm going to put in the website for my Become Ungovernable Truth website,
right,
and it will show you the people that I read every day and follow. Okay.
I put it below. I put it to the side in the chat.
Yeah, it's. I'll tell you who I really like is Mint Press News. I really love Mint Press News. I met the woman that runs it at the march, and I really like them.
Consortium News, Disobedient Media.
Yep.
Meme News.
Meme News. Okay, Meme News. If you haven't heard of it, you might not have. It's our news coalition where I'm trying to unite all independent media, like everybody from like Caitlin Johnstone to everybody on this channel.
No, we're getting ready to go to bed, honey. Sorry.
And like uniting all the independent media, getting us to work together, like doing these live streams and encouraging people to make media however they do it. Like some people make memes, I make memes. Deb does videos. Dave does videos, we're trying to just show people how to become the media, because that's how you replace fake news and fake mainstream media. You create something better. Mm-hmm. So, we're kind of creating, like, I'll make graphics for anybody within our meme news group, make graphics for them, help promote for them, and kind of just show a united force. That's kind of just what I'm doing. Like, sometimes I don't even tell people I'm making memes for them, like just quoting them, and then promote it. And then people see that and they say, oh, they read something about Zoom Politicon on Pinterest and it brought people to their page. So that's going to help them, making memes for Deb and stuff.
I also have I just want to tell you guys, I want to open this up to everyone. I have a blog called Revolutionary Radar, and I really think videos are great, but I'm going to start writing more, and I'm encouraging everyone to write and submit to me, and I'll put the stuff up. And I think the written word is critical. So I'm going to give you that. I'm going to put it right here, right now. It's going to go through a major update.
Critical, like however people are comfortable speaking out. And that's kind of what Me News is encouraging. Like, doesn't matter what kind of media that you are comfortable doing, you just do it, you know? Like, you can even do a video from your computer and just use the screen and have a screenshot and not even have, you know, on camera. So it's like, it doesn't, whatever you have to do to be able to speak out, it's good, you know?
All
I
right,
think
guys.
people need to they need to branch out. Like, people are saying, oh, well, let's leave Facebook or let's leave this. And no, I think we need everywhere. Every platform that you can speak on right now, because the censorship's getting so bad that we have to do that to counter it. So
Hey, listen, Facebook would love us. Facebook would love us to all walk away.
Yeah.
The people who speak out. They want Facebook to be left to the people who are posting kitty and puppy pictures of their kids incessantly. Oh, here's my son eating an orange. Oh,
no, they want people that are promoting the establishment.
Yeah, or you know what? The other thing they want people doing is buying. They
buying
products all the time. They want the mindless on Facebook. He just wants to make money. That's his gig.
And Facebook's a big thing for like little collection games. Like we're collecting outfits, and we're collecting football cards and all that kind of crap.
Right.
But where you're just paying for more and more stuff. Stevie, I gotta say, I know I've known you more than anybody else here. I've known you longer than everybody. You have a fantastic bullshit detector, and I say that anybody who reads any news from anywhere, I don't care if it's Chris Hedges to anybody, we have to critically think about everything. Chris Hedges is on point. I haven't seen him really be wrong about anything, but anytime you read a news article, you don't look at the source, look at the information. And that's the same thing. That's the same
Sorry,
thing.
my husband's got to go to bed. I have got to go.
Okay.
Peace. I
really appreciate you doing this and talking with us, and hope we get to do this again soon.
Oh yeah, we will.
Oh yeah, please, let's do it, guys. Let's do it way more often.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna upload it, and then I'll upload it to YouTube, and I'll post it on Twitter, and then I'll tag you all in it.
Sounds good.
Love and peace. Have a great night.
You too.
Signing off.
Peace.